If you've ever tried being patient with a narcissist, if you've ever stayed quiet just to keep the peace, if you've ever forgiven someone who didn't even deserve an explanation, then listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change how you see your entire life. Most people think narcissists are just difficult people. They think narcissists are just arrogant, selfish, or emotionally immature. But that's not the real danger. The real danger is that narcissists don't just hurt you, they reprogram you. Slowly, quietly, over time, until one day you wake up and you don't even recognize the person you've become. And the scariest part is this: you won't notice it while it's happening. You'll think you're being mature. You'll think you're being loving. You'll think you're being understanding. But in reality, you're being trained, conditioned, manipulated, and you're calling it love. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal something most people never talk about, something that therapists won't say directly, something your friends might not understand, and something the narcissist is terrified you'll learn. Because once you understand this one truth, they lose power over you forever. And I'm warning you right now, this is not a motivational video that will make you feel good for 5 minutes. This is the kind of truth that will make you uncomfortable, because it will force you to look at the way you've been living, the way you've been tolerating disrespect, and the way you've been slowly betraying yourself just to keep someone in your life. But if you stay until the end, you will learn the one thing that actually works against a narcissist. And it's not kindness, it's not love, and it's definitely not explaining yourself. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just understand narcissists. You'll understand why you stayed. Most people don't realize this. But being nice doesn't make a narcissist reflect. It doesn't make them feel guilty. It doesn't awaken some hidden conscience inside them. In fact, in many cases, your kindness becomes the very reason they stay comfortable doing what they do. And that is a hard truth to accept, because you've been taught your whole life that goodness changes people. You've been taught that patience is strength, that forgiveness is noble, that if you keep showing love, eventually the other person will soften. But narcissism doesn't work like that. A narcissist doesn't interpret kindness the way a healthy person does. You see kindness as connection. You see it as a bridge. You see it as a signal that says, I'm safe, I'm loyal, I'm here for you. But the narcissist sees kindness as leverage. They don't see your softness as love. They see it as access. They see it as an opportunity. They see it as proof that they can behave badly and still keep you in their orbit. That's why being nice doesn't change them. It trains them. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's true, because every time you excuse their behavior, every time you rationalize what they did, every time you forgive them without requiring accountability, you are not teaching them how to love you. You are teaching them what they can get away with. You are teaching them how far they can push before you finally break. And narcissists are experts at pushing without crossing the line too quickly. They do it slowly, strategically, like a person testing a fence, leaning on it little by little until they know exactly where it collapses. And you know what's even more dangerous? They don't do it by being evil all the time. They do it by mixing cruelty with charm. They hurt you, then they comfort you. They insult you, then they compliment you. They disappear, then they return with warmth. And this creates confusion. It creates emotional addiction. Your mind begins to chase the version of them that feels good, and you start believing that if you just love harder, you can bring that version back permanently. But the version you're chasing isn't their true self. It's their strategy. This is why people stay stuck. They think they're in a relationship. They think they're in a misunderstanding. But they're not. They're in a psychological pattern. They're in a cycle where their empathy is being used against them, and the narcissist knows exactly what kind of person you are. They know you're compassionate. They know you don't like conflict. They know you want peace. They know you overthink. They know you reflect. They know you blame yourself. And because of that, they can create a reality where you keep trying to prove you are worthy of respect, instead of realizing that respect is something you should never have to earn. A narcissist doesn't respect what is freely given. They respect what has a cost. Think about it. If you give someone unlimited chances, what does that communicate? It communicates that consequences don't exist. And when consequences don't exist, character doesn't develop. Growth doesn't happen. Accountability doesn't happen. A narcissist doesn't wake up one day and say, you know what, I've been wrong, I've been selfish, I've been manipulative. That's not how their mind operates. Their mind operates around survival and image. Their entire personality is built around protecting themselves from shame. That's why they deflect. That's why they blame. That's why they twist your words. That's why they make you feel like you're too sensitive, too emotional, too demanding, too dramatic. Because if they can convince you that you're the problem, they never have to face themselves. So when you keep being nice, you're giving them a shield. You're giving them a place to hide. You're giving them the comfort of knowing that no matter what they do, you will still be there trying to understand them. And this is where good people get trapped. Because good people believe understanding fixes everything. They believe if they just communicate better, the other person will finally see the damage they're causing. But narcissists don't respond to communication the way you do. They respond to communication like it's information, like it's data, like it's ammunition. When you explain how they hurt you, you think you're opening their eyes, but often you're simply revealing your emotional pressure points. You're telling them what matters to you, what scares you, what triggers you, what you're sensitive about, and later, when they want to punish you or regain control, they will use the exact same information against you. They'll hit you in the same place again, because they already know it works. This is why being nice is not the solution, because kindness without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. And there's something deeply philosophical about that. When you continue to offer kindness to someone who consistently disrespects you, you are not being virtuous, you are being dishonest with yourself. You are telling yourself a story that this person is capable of love, when their actions show they are capable of exploitation. And that story becomes a prison. You live inside the fantasy that if you stay soft, they will eventually become soft too. But a narcissist doesn't become soft, they become skilled. Skilled at manipulation, skilled at guilt, skilled at turning every conversation into a courtroom where you are always defending yourself, skilled at making you feel like you're asking for too much when you were only asking for basic decency. And you know what's tragic? The nicest people are the ones who stay the longest, because they don't want to give up on someone. They don't want to be the person who walks away. They don't want to feel like they fail. They don't want to be seen as cruel. They don't want to be labeled as selfish, so they stay. And they tolerate. And they sacrifice. But the narcissist doesn't interpret that as love. They interpret it as weakness. They interpret it as permission. That's why the more you give, the more they take. The more you forgive, the more they repeat. The more you compromise, the more they demand. Because narcissists don't value what you offer. They value what they can extract. They don't admire your empathy. They exploit it. And once you see this clearly, you stop playing the wrong game. You stop trying to be the perfect partner. You stop trying to be the understanding friend. You stop trying to be the person who can heal them with loyalty, because you finally realize something that changes everything. Your goodness is not a tool for their transformation. Your goodness is a responsibility to yourself. It is your job to protect it. Because if you keep pouring your kindness into a person who feeds on it, you will eventually run out. And when you run out, you won't just lose them. You'll lose you. You'll lose your confidence, your clarity, your joy, your identity. You'll become someone who doubts their own mind, someone who apologizes for existing, someone who thinks love is supposed to hurt. And that is the real danger. So here's the truth you need to hold on to. Being nice won't change a narcissist, because they don't see kindness as love. They see it as control. They see it as proof that you will stay no matter what. And as long as they believe you will stay, they have no reason to change, because people don't change when they are comfortable. They change when comfort is removed. And if you want your life back, you must stop being nice in ways that destroy your self-respect, because kindness without strength is not kindness. It's surrender. And the moment you understand that, You stop trying to save them and you finally start saving yourself. If you want to understand a narcissist, you have to stop looking at them through the lens of love, because most people make the same mistake. They assume the narcissist is operating from the same emotional system that they are. They assume the narcissist feels guilt the way they do, feels empathy the way they do, values connection the way they do. And that assumption is exactly what keeps people trapped. Because when you think someone is acting out of love, you keep searching for meaning. You keep trying to interpret their behavior as emotional confusion, as fear, as insecurity, as a wounded inner child that just needs the right kind of support. But narcissism is not simply insecurity. It is a hunger for control. And once you understand that, everything becomes clear. Their behavior stops being confusing. It stops being unpredictable. It stops being mysterious. You begin to see the pattern beneath the chaos. A narcissist does not build relationships to share life with you. They build relationships to manage you. They are not looking for partnership. They are looking for leverage. They are not looking for intimacy. They are looking for influence. And that's why in the beginning they often feel so intense. They feel so magnetic. They feel so attentive. They make you feel seen in a way you've never felt before. And you think, finally someone understands me. But what you're experiencing isn't love.